Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm Ep.125.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
The views and opinions expressed on Geekfather are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, their affiliates, or sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. This is for the parents and not for the kiddies.
Geekfire!
Can you try one more time? Say Geekfather real loud.
Geekfire way out!
Hey guys, welcome back. That's right, if you're getting ready for the spooky times, hearing this spooky voice, that's right, Scotty P here, helping bring in all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent with the Geekfathers. That's right, we're getting ready for Halloween here, and I wouldn't be doing this or hanging tough if it wasn't for my cohort, partner in crime, fellow pumpkin smasher, if you will. There he is. Mr. Kyle Smash in the house.
What's up, man?
What's happening?
Nice little coffee burp there.
That was.
Yeah, I'm getting older. I need coffee this time.
I'm getting whiffs, and the flavor is good.
Yeah, they're good beans.
Yes,
you know?
good beans. You got good beans, kid.
You got good beans, kid.
Yes. I, on the other hand, am doing the alcohol just so I can get some sleep tonight.
Oh, wow.
So I just had a little bit of trouble getting some sleep last night, but
some deep issues there. Should we talk about them?
No, I did have a sick child party yesterday and into this morning.
Oh.
So, nothing, yeah. Unfortunately, nothing bad, nothing contagious, just wasn't feeling very well. He was, by 9 o'clock this morning, he was fine and acting normal, but of course still missed school, so was pissed when he couldn't do anything.
Sure.
So, yeah, you took a sick day, you don't get to do extra shit, so...
I think my kid just tries to get out of school by she's like, I don't feel well, and it's like, you can't come home. Like, you're fine. You don't have a fever, you're not throwing up, you're not bleeding, like, you have that little headache, drink some water, and then, sally forth, because you can't come home.
Exactly.
Just because, you're not feeling that well.
It can't happen. Well...
I think that's more when they get older. And she's in middle school, so
yeah.
She's trying whatever
mine
she
also
can.
Apparently didn't eat lunch, so of course it started with the headache, and then trying to get him to eat, and he's complaining. And of course, this evening after dinner, before I came over here, it was a whole thing of, I don't know if I should go to school tomorrow. You don't have a fever. You say you're feeling fine. I was like, I tell you what, you want to stay home from school? That means, well, it's Friday. That means you don't get to play with your friends. And that means that rolls over into the weekend, which means no video games, no hang time, no nothing else. Oh, changing the tune real quick on that one. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Yesterday was legitimate. Today he stayed home, which was legitimate. You're better now.
Yeah.
You're 8 years old. You can bounce back, no problem at this point.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just like, at my kid's age, now in middle school, it's like right now, anxiety is the big thing. Anxiousness, that stress, that but that's the consistent topic of conversation. Not just like with my kid but most kids.
Yeah.
They stress on that in school about how deal with anxiety, which is I think is good. I think to an extent, some kids may try to use that as a way to get out of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling a lot of anxiety right now. I need to get away from people. And, you can usually, I'm sure anyone trained enough can usually tell. I know the difference between if she's really having a moment versus it can be forced. Now, it can be a tricky thing, but I'm just noticing that now, which is obviously fun. A good outlet is Halloween, which is we got coming up pretty soon. So that's
very much so. Yes.
And she loves horror. So I know that's she likes,
yeah, Logan.
What she thinks are horror movies, I guess.
Well, yeah. There's still age restrictions.
She hasn't tipped. Yeah, she's not even tip of the iceberg situation.
Oh yeah. We've talked about that. I think throughout the year, just because of what we tend to watch in general, movie or TV show wise. There's still a whole slew of things that these kids have no idea still what's out there and waiting for them to explore.
No.
Just I totally had to call it where, well, Logan has kind of stepped away from some of the horror. He's still interested in some things, but like I said, he's always had the mind of, he wants to see how the special effects work. He wants to know the function of things. He's my sensible guy. When it comes down to it. Leland's Michael Myers costume is on the way. We should have it by Monday.
That fucking kills me. That
he chose it. I ordered it.
This little thing is going to be walking around with, well, maybe not so little, but little in regards to like, it just wearing that fucking mask. Is it the new one?
Oh,
I think we asked last. I can't remember.
I made sure we went with classic. You went 77.
That's right. The face.
Yeah, 77. I always forget 77 or 78. 78, I think.
When the first movie came out?
I think it's
78.
78. Okay, I was born in 78, so it's not like I remember. Just showing my age there.
Right now, Lowdown just looked up and then went, something awful just happened.
Oh yeah, he's like, I smell the bullshit in the air. What is happening?
Yeah,
what is going on?
Something terrible just happened.
Right. So yeah, the guys from the Mouths of Madness are probably rolling over the grave. Which I should say it's come up because speaking of Halloween, it kind of hurt my soul a little bit when our two horror aficionados from GUI are talking about the new Halloween being horrible.
Yes.
Halloween Ends apparently is not the best way to end it.
Yeah, at least from what they've seen. I don't think that they've watched like the full thing yet. I think that they got like a thing of the clips or whatever.
Possibly.
Or maybe you can get. I know you can't. So I actually, because of that, signed up for Peacock because I want to be able to. I have a Regal pass. I was going to pay for it anyways, but I just wanted to be able to like watch it from the house.
Right. Well, and that's why the wife and I have used that, because there are certain things like the Chucky series is great, and the kids have watched actually a little bit of the Chucky series. But when it comes to the movies, that way we know, because of how hard it is to get babysitters these days. Yeah. We know we still have access to certain things, not having to go wait to the theater or wait for it to be streaming in another 2 or 3 months or whatever.
I've had it for like all of 45 minutes, like right before you walked in. I had like signed up for it, and just looking through it, I'm like, man, there's awesome shit on here. Under the Halloween section, they have like Demon Night. I was like, yep.
Oh yeah,
that one's going on my list.
Be careful, because they do have. It's kind of like Amazon Prime. If you've ever gone down that rabbit hole of Amazon Prime horror movies, where you're finding some great little nuggets, some classics, some newer stuff that you're interested in, but you still catch these pockets of just god awful. Like, there's been a couple movies I haven't even finished because I'm just like, I love a good cheesy, horribly done horror movie, scary, whatever, or just, something that should be on Beautiful Disasters maybe. But there are a couple of those in that collection that I'm just like...
What, the Peacocks?
Oh, yeah. Bad. Bad.
Excuse me. Going through the collection, what I liked about the horror section was that, or the Halloween, but the horror section was split up by its particular decade, so the 30s, it goes 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and I was like, that's fucking badass.
They do that smart for the Halloween time. When you're in regular time, like over the summer when I was watching a couple things, it's just a horror section. Right. Peacock is one of those great streaming apps to where they get in the mood, like Hulu.
Yeah.
Hulu is really good they have their Halloween section of like certain movies, certain shows just for the Halloween season,
right?
And they curate it beautifully. I mean, you just go into the horror section most of the year, but for about 2 months, you have it like
it's on the surface because of
of course.
But they so far I've been impressed with the selection and that 70 shows on there, which I was like, it's about time it's back to streaming.
Yes, because it was on Netflix for a while, but Netflix is weird these days.
Well, it was on Netflix for a while, but because of Danny Masterson.
Oh, well, yeah, the whole Scientology thing. Oh, dude, I'll talk.
No, not the Scientology. Well,
he's protected by Scientology.
Well, yeah. So, calm down there, buddy. I know you are.
You know how I get about my...
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I have not officially made a statement on that. But I will say, allegedly, but that's why they kicked it off, and it was for a long time. It's like you can't... And just to go off topic here, but you can't punish an entire cast of a show for the actions of one man. There's got to be ways to just only cut one person out
Right.
So that and keep it going so that everybody can get their royalties, or maybe you can't do that legally.
The same thing. That's why a random show that I enjoyed more than I thought, and this is definitely not Halloween or anything, but that's why they killed off his character on The Ranch. That Netflix original show with
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. And fucking Sam Elliott, man.
And Sam Elliott.
Dude, that show is...
Sam Elliott.
Don't ever do that again for Sam Elliott. Nope.
No, we're going to cut that out.
Nope. Because we have to show the world what just happened and that it hopefully never happens
I've only
again.
watched Roadhouse like 9 billion times.
Well, yeah, duh.
Like, pretty much, you know.
Between Roadhouse, Rush, and...
Oh, yeah, Rush.
Oh, and The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
3 top movies that have Sam Elliott, and he's not even a main character in any of those, technically.
Total, like, fucking Geek Dad break off rant, but it is...
Dude,
you know what?
We'll old man tangent on Sam Elliott
all day long. Listen,
any day.
Listen, Justified. He had a great, like, short stint in the final season. And he came on, and his presence was just strong as fuck.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So if you haven't seen Justified with Timothy Olyphant and
it's a
company,
killer series. That is it. And I totally
they're coming back with a new one.
Really, like a redo or?
I think it's It's either a limited or like maybe a movie. I don't think it's a movie, but if it is,
but it's cool. Timothy Olyphant. Like they're not trying to redo it or do something.
No. It's just later on.
Okay.
It's just as he is now, older.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah,
I can dig that.
Look like he did in The Mandalorian, just gray.
Oh yeah, getting that salt and pepper. Okay.
Just like Sam Elliott.
Damn right, dude. Name drop Sam Elliott and Timothy Olyphant like all day long, and those talk about 2 great actors that have made their name and I know have impressed me since at least the 90s, and I know Sam Elliott goes back even further. Well, technically the 80s. Well, but I know he goes even back even further than Roadhouse. Really,
Timothy Olyphant, and talking about nerd, I remember because he was actually in, and very young, was in Gone in 60 Seconds, the Nicolas Cage remake. And he was like, he was a cop. Yeah, he was a cop, and he was kind of in the background. I think he had then he did something in like Scream.
Before that, remember that movie Go, where he plays the drug dealer?
Oh, that's right. Well, he was also in The Girl Next Door, which he played a porn producer or something.
Oh yeah. What was it? Well, what? See, Go and The Girl Next Door came out relatively. Hole. Oh, dude, yeah, those came out again. Well, those are
The Girl Next Door is I like it better.
Oh yeah, well, Alicia Cuthbert. So
yeah. I mean, I was all about 24 at the time. So
yeah,
that was my shit.
Go actually came out before then, if I remember correctly, because I remember Go coming out when I was like maybe 18, 19, 20, in that just out of high school type range. I know it was definitely one of his first bigger roles for anything.
And that's what we could tie. You could tie it right back into Halloween because he was Scream. He was in Scream. He was the bad guy in like Scream 2.
No, it was like 3.
He's a film student.
Oh shit! No, I'm thinking of a different character. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Scream
it was 2.
Yeah, and he was a film student. He played the killer. Which by the by, only because I wanted to cheap out and I didn't feel like doing any makeup or anything really clever this year, so I bought the Ghostface costume. I was like, but it's not the one. It doesn't pull all the way over your head. Like it's just a really comfortable, like
just a simple
strap mask.
Yeah.
And then I'll have like a little cloak. But I was like, I don't want to do anything intricate.
Right.
And this was like $30. I was like, let me do this.
There you go.
I was gonna do Hopper. from season 4 because
that's right. Yeah,
I had the buzz. I had the haircut and I could trim the beard down a little bit and wear it, but I was like, I'm not paying $50 to mimic. They have if you've ever seen the season 4, he's basically in a prison jacket.
Yeah.
In Russia, and then he's got that fucking
they're like
hat
charging almost double the price for that jacket.
Yeah,
basically.
it's like $50 for that and like the hat, and I was like, man, no way. Now,
if you also want to double down on the Halloween because you brought up Scream 2, you also have Laurie Metcalf who played what's his face's mother, and Laurie Metcalf being known as Aunt Jackie on originally Roseanne and now the Connors, and they've been known for their Halloween episodes.
That's right, and on Sheldon's mom on Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I never really got into Big Bang Theory, so
you son of a bitch.
I know, man. But
I know. It's funny is I'll hear people like, man, I hate that show, but like I think secretly a lot of people go home and just fucking watch it and binge it.
not a bad show in my opinion. I've seen enough of it. It just wasn't anything that like I really worried about watching.
Yeah.
Maybe now that the show is over and done with and it's easier, just maybe I can just put it on and I'll binge through it.
Do you have HBO Max?
Yeah.
It's on there.
Okay, well,
go check it out.
As we say these days, with so much content, I'll put it on the list. That's about the best I can offer, you know?
Shia LaBeouf you. Do it!
Don't
just do it.
Don't LaBeef me, okay?
Oh, I'll LaBeef you.
I believe LaBeef me all night long.
LaBeef you so good.
Oh.
And anyone listening out there,
now we're just
you
getting
really
scary,
enjoy
I
this.
think.
That's right. We're going into the real horror. Down some deep holes here, buddy.
Oh, that's what she said.
That's
I mean,
I'm not even drinking. This is great.
I'm only on my second drink, so it's not like I'm like, we're early GUI days.
Oh God, I don't think I could survive a night like that anymore.
No, dude, we've had a couple talks about how I don't even know how we even got episodes out sometimes during the early days, other than Hobbit being
and now when you have like
editing.
5 or 6 people drunkenly just fucking talking over each other, and it was just they were fun. Don't get me wrong, they were a blast. They were
absolutely.
It was just chaos.
Yes.
There was so much chaos at the time.
Bless Hobbit for editing all those episodes for so long.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, by the way, I want to bring it back to Halloween.
Yes, as we
should. I finally watched the new Scream.
Oh yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I've heard it was okay. Like, and I've heard some people online. I've read comments and stuff like that. But I was like, I was like, I didn't want to get spoiled, so I was like, I wanted to make my own mind up, of course. And so after I watched it, sat like uninterrupted. Watched, the whole thing, and I was like, I actually enjoyed the shit out of that.
Same here.
I thoroughly, absolutely. It wasn't amazing. It didn't blow my hair back, but there wasn't a time in the movie where I was like, this sucks. Like, I personally enjoyed it.
It had a great pace to it.
Mm-hmm.
It touched back to the original. It kept the whole thing within its universe.
Well, and it did what you can only do with a movie that's meta in nature. The whole point of it was that it was meta horror. Before that was a thing.
And I will say spoilers
they kicked it off, I guess.
Before I say this just in the off chance, but come on, they came out last year or earlier this year?
I was like, 2 years ago. Year, maybe it was a year ago.
About a year ago, maybe.
Because I know I saw her at a horror con last year.
Yeah.
Neve Campbell.
Yep.
Promoting the movie. So
R.I.P. Dewey, man. I'm mad that they. Well, I'll say finally.
Spoiler alert.
That's why I said spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. But yes, the best character in the franchise gets fucking killed off.
Right. And I'll say that because I love David Arquette anyways. I know he had a low time, but dude, that documentary about him that came out a couple of years ago, check it out. Like, talks about with like wrestling.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, I just watched Eight-Legged Freaks the other day. Still great.
Yes, that is such a great movie.
No, R.I.P. Dewey, because he really, I mean, even in that movie, he elevated. When he was in the scenes, I was like, this is better. Like, he elevated it and made it more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because you really didn't know what's come from. But he tells you from the moment, anyone who hasn't seen it, sorry. But when he talks to the two main characters, and one of them being from The Boys.
Oh yeah, that's
one of the main characters from The Boys.
I'm horrible about the names, but
he's the only human. Huey.
Huey
Dewey.
But he plays Huey on The
Huey.
Boys.
That's it. All right.
Yeah.
So Huey's with the main character, who's like the young version of Neve Campbell, essentially. As far as the character goes.
Recycling the role, so to say.
Sure.
But
and it's so meta that they talk about how meta it is in terms of recycling roles.
Oh, I'll say I just wanted to throw out there at the end, just Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox, the way they're talking at the very end before, is this the time where they come back again?
Yeah,
because they're dead, but they're about to jump up and do it.
A few badass moments in that movie, like they were like, it was almost at one point with those two like a buddy cop. Back to when Dewey's first, like, you see him after all this time, and they go to see him, and he's just like, he looks at the guy, the boyfriend who's Huey on The Boys. He's like, oh, it's him. I mean, it's you. Like, and eventually it kind of gets turned around. And you don't really know who's who, but he calls it from the beginning. It's like it's usually the person closest to you, so it's you.
Right.
Like, It was a great scene, actually.
And I think that's part of what made that movie fun is because you're sitting there going, well, are they going to go with the trope, or are they going to break the trope this one time to throw you off track? And they did throw out a trope, but break the trope at the same time. And that was the fun part about all these movies, really. Even though a couple of them got kind of silly about who the murderer was and why.
Yeah.
But the whole point of it is like, dude, you're totally calling out every single horror movie trope that there is, and that's what makes them fun half the time.
Yeah,
man.
and they did a good job. It was meta on meta, on meta. Like, but it even had what's the actor's name? Who played Billy in the original? Played the Nev Campbell's boyfriend.
See, I hate how my mind works with names because I know exact.
Oh, you're old.
Yeah.
Nope, we forgive you.
Thanks a lot.
No, I can't. Actually, I can't remember his name either.
Skeet Ulrich is his real name.
Oh, nice pull.
Damn.
It is Skeet Ulrich. That's right. Which he was great in that, but the role I enjoyed him most was like a TV show about essentially, a nuclear explosions all over the country.
Oh, that was Jericho, right?
Jericho.
Yeah.
Great show.
Actually, he did really good. We need to go back and rewatch a couple of the more recent seasons, but he was a great character, at least for a while, in Riverdale.
I have not. I can't. I have fuck Archie.
And
his friends.
This is not your usual Archie, man. They at least for the first few seasons, there's some fun storylines.
It's Archie with muscles and people get killed. Like it's
pretty cool, actually.
Well, all right, I'll take your word for it. I don't know if I could. My daughter's watched it, so maybe I'll watch it with her. I couldn't sit and watch it by myself, just because I wouldn't be motivated to do that. But if I get time with her, then we'll sit down and she'll show me. She's been dying to do it anyways.
And that's why I say it was a show that we were, because, also at the height of the CW for all the DC shows and stuff, it was one that was on our list. Mm-hmm. But we definitely fell off that, Hey, I admit we fell off of that show pretty easily. It can be done.
Sad dad alert. So I have basically raised my daughter. I mean, not consciously, in terms of like you have to or forced to, but it was always our thing to watch like Arrowverse shows.
Yeah.
She hasn't seen much of Arrow, but Flash, that was our show. Like
we got way more into Flash as well.
Flash, that was our thing. And I had read recently, it made her sad too that they're basically scrapping that whole thing. They're scrapping the Arrowverse completely because of the new head honchos up there, like W or Warner Brothers.
Well, I'll say Discovery. It's WB Discovery is technically the company, but
they can
Well, I'm interested to see because we're a little bit behind, but Stargirl really felt like it was bringing, like, even though it really wasn't technically the Arrowverse, Stargirl was still, or as far as I know, is still a great series.
Well, I don't think they're scrapping all those shows, and Stargirl is HBO Max, I'm pretty sure. So
no, it's still CW.
Is it?
Yep.
Well, no, then they're scrapping it, but Titans isn't.
No, Titans actually, that new season comes out, I think, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Titans is that show is just it's like it's beast.
They've gone
fucking badass.
Above and beyond what I was thinking because I remember when I first saw about the Titans, I was just like, oh my god, they have Starfire looking like a hooker, which is funny because in the season 1. She technically is dressed to be a hooker.
Sure.
But all the stills that you see are just like...
It's extremely adult. And that's like...
Right.
My daughter's been, wanting to watch. I'm like, no. We'd have to watch the TNT, like, cleaned up version.
Is it even... Did they show it on TNT? Like,
I think it's
TNT down?
Yeah. Or is it...
Wow.
Yeah, TNT. But they'll, like... Depending on what time of night they show something, is when they lock
how much they'll...
If it's after midnight or something like that, or like late, like 11 o'clock, you'll hear fucking this and that.
Sure.
If it's earlier, I think they cut it out. But she went ahead behind my back anyways and watched them, and I'm like, and there's not shit in there that is for a young anyone. But you know what?
Bringing it back to Halloween or at least scary movie stuff.
Yeah.
I found out last week or something like that. My kids, because. Unfortunately, we had to buy a new TV because our other TV took a random shit. Mm-hmm. So pissed about that. So we only have certain things locked. We don't have it locked down as heavy as it was before, but it's locked down enough. And I'm usually home, working from home and stuff like that. So there's still monitoring that happens.
Sure.
But somehow, those little sons of bitches, and I'll say that about my own children because it's more of a props to them for getting away with it, and they ratted on themselves. They watched The Hug, which, if you don't know, is a very, very creepy horror short on Hulu. About one of those mechanical things like at a Chuck E. Cheese, and it always asks the kids for a hug and then fucking eats them because it wants their soul.
Jesus Christ. That sounds terrifying as a kid.
And it was creepy as hell. But my kids watched it and they were like, yeah, we watched The Hug. I'm like, The Hug? What are you talking about? They're like, yeah, on Hulu. And I was like, wait a minute. And I brought up Hulu and because I had seen it already. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you guys watched that? I was like trying not to be mad, but at the same time being kind of proud that I was like, oh yeah, you guys were slick.
I mean, they got away with it.
They did.
They got away with it. Well, like my kid, she watched Titans from going on to like a website because she didn't have my password for HBO Max.
Oh. Okay.
And so she's like, oh yeah, I watched them through like like an illegal website, and I was
like a web torrent one or something.
I think it was probably just So I think. There's plenty of streaming websites you can watch.
DC still has their website.
They have the CW app, I think.
Oh, and I
think they still have that right now.
And I'm sure it connects to all the DC stuff.
She may in her mind told herself that it was like just to feel cool, but it wasn't.
In her head, she was a hacker.
But she completely told on herself, and then she's like, can we put it on? And I'm like, I mean, she already watched the first season. She told me all about it. I was like, I mean, at this point, I guess you're already a season into it. What's the point of me sitting there trying to hold you back or protect you from it when you're just going to go ahead and do it? And she's at the age where I know that's going to happen more and more.
Sure, absolutely.
And she's going to expect, but she's like them. It's like she can't seem to keep the secret, tells on herself. She did the same thing with Black Phone. And as I talked last episode.
Last time, yeah.
She's absolutely obsessed with it. And I think she likes it because of the boy in there, the main character.
Sure.
And like how in the end, basically, he gets the upper hand. And she loves that. But
he's the hero.
He's the hero, and he's like, from her perspective.
Sure.
She's like, you want to know why I watch it? That's why. And there's like 40 pictures of just like him. Yeah.
Hey, the Hollywood crushes, man.
They do.
They happen. They happen.
I had plenty of Hollywood crushes in horror movies growing up as a kid, so...
Absolutely, man. I mean, well, even to this day, Jamie Lee Curtis, still bomb.
Oh. If Jamie Lee Curtis is absolutely... She's, like, phenomenal. That's why...
Absolutely.
I'm really pulling for... I'm hoping that they're just wrong and like, saw some shitty clips and were just like, this is gonna suck. But... we'll see. I'll find out.
Unfortunately, it wouldn't be the first time that a franchise ended poorly doing that.
It's just
that it does.
It's just that. Listen, I am all about the first two, the new ones.
Absolutely, yeah.
They are so goddamn good, and I don't have any issues with the second one. As a matter of fact, I've watched it several times and I love it. And so I'm like, well, if people out there have a problem with like the second one for certain reasons. Then if the third one has more of it, then I'll probably end up liking it. That's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah.
But
now see,
I'm living in denial.
Are we going to have to go have a possible GUI battle here where if you and I end up liking it and then Steven and Hunter don't like it, are we going to have to like maybe do a combined episode of Geekfathers with From the Mouths of Madness to debate Halloween Ends?
It might be needed.
We might have to make that happen. Like,
I can pretty much already rest on where those guys are going to sit from what I've heard. So we'll find out. There'll be a final tomorrow. I know that messaging string is going to be give it the weekend
off. Because that's definitely one that the wife wants to. That's one that we watch together.
Yes.
So we probably will not make it to the theater. So again, that's why we've got the Peacock Premium to be able to watch it there. And actually, I got to remember because on some of the weekends, and that's been the hard part, even for like right now, because I had a couple of years with the boys where it was like, let's watch our Halloween movies and our horror movies together because it's Halloween time.
Right, that's like what you do.
No, but they're more concerned with hanging with the crew. I've asked them a couple times, being like, hey, because part of that deal is like, trying to watch a little bit more daytime for them, watching certain ones. And there's a couple of the parents that probably won't mind certain things that we watch, but one that Logan really wants to watch, it's more of a thriller suspense movie, but it's a Netflix original that has Queen Latifah because we watched The Equalizer. So he's all about that movie.
Watching The Equalizer?
Dude, that new Equalizer show is the bomb, dude.
Well, I mean, look, Queen Latifah, she's always been badass. Queen Latifah
is, first off, you're right, she's fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. Second off, the writing is done very well and the way they've modernized it, like just politics and stuff, they've done a great job with it. And the setup, it's done, and it has other familiar faces as well. They have a great cast. Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I saw you were talking, Quantum Leap. You've been watching. I haven't watched the new one.
Yes.
I have watched. Actually, me and my kid have watched. Like, I've shown her some of the older episodes. And she thought it was such a cool concept.
It is, and one of the biggest reasons why I'm even continuing to give this a chance is that it's not a reboot. It's a continuation of the original show.
Oh, so he's taking over for Scott Bakula's character.
Yes and no.
Well, because at the end of the original show, I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time. I don't remember the specific, but I'm pretty sure at the end of the original show, he gets back.
Sam, Scott Bakula's character, is still lost in time. He never officially made it back. And knowing that was probably going to happen, he fixed something for Al, which was Dean Stockwell.
Dean, yeah. Who's, rest in peace.
Right, R.I.P. for Dean as well. I think because we've mentioned Quantum Leap a couple times, I want to say, as the show was building. And so, see, now you've got me on my Quantum Leap because I'm just like, ooh, I want to talk about this so badly. So, but Sam fixed something for Al so that he could be with his wife because you find out throughout the show that they've divorced or separated, blah, 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 blah. Okay, technically I may be giving spoilers, but there's only 4 episodes in and you learn stuff really quickly in the show, but it's not ruining what's happening. I will say first off that they're doing the time jumps, the stories within the time jumps are still done really well. The reasoning, and here's what happened is that Sam was lost. He just knew it. So where this show picks up from is they've reopened the Quantum Leap program to try to bring Sam home and figure out what went wrong. But what happens is that this main person did the jump into Quantum Leap. He wasn't supposed to be the person that was supposed to do the jump. He did it without telling anybody. And because when you go into Quantum Leap, you lose your memory, so they don't know why he did it. But he's part of the program, but it's supposed to be his fiance that was supposed to do the jump. And now she plays the role of Al as the hologram trying to help him through the jumps.
And they're together.
But he doesn't,
doesn't know they're together.
He just realized it in episode 4 because of the memory lapses that happen when you jump.
All right. It sounds, if it's a continuation, I'll check it out.
And they give great nods to Dean Stockwell as Al, that character, because his daughter is involved, that you find out.
Oh, shit. Oh, don't tell me too much.
I've got to say this spoiler because it makes sense for what happens, but again, it's episode 4. You can catch up really quickly. First off, it's Ernie fucking Hudson is the main character in the show.
Sweet.
And what you find out, the reason why he heads up and restarted the program, they reference an original episode on the show. He is a character that Sam jumped into.
I wonder how you could possibly know that. Okay, we're done.
That's all I'll say about because he explains everything.
We're done. We're done for this. We're
so
done.
Yes,
I don't want any more spoilers. Now you've got me excited.
I love getting you excited.
Yeah.
But Quantum Leap, highly recommended. I went into
and family show. I mean, you could watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just like the original dealt with some serious topics, especially for the 90s.
And I'm sure this one will too for modern times as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be
great. I would not doubt it because let me just say this to wrap up technically because it's not about the show, what happens on the show, but I found out recently. Actually, Steven and I were talking about it a few weeks ago. Apparently, there were some weird stipulations on recreating the show, though, like what type of characters they had to have with it. Because that was another thing that drew me in. They're actually talking more about real time, like the stuff that's happening with the people running the Quantum Leap program.
Yeah.
With what's happening to, his name is Ben, that's doing the jumps.
I always worry about NBC writers, though. They always get you nice. They get you nice and excited. They tickle your balls, and then they go, "I got to leave." And it's
or a writer's strike. Heroes.
Yeah.
That writer's strike is what killed Heroes, man.
Yeah, because I mean, first season was just fucking phenomenal.
Even season 2 was pretty top notch.
Well, half of season 2 was top.
Well, that was about when the strike started happening. That's when they started.
Yeah.
So
okay, we could go on and on. But everybody should go out, watch as many horror movies as you can. Watch as many movies as you deem appropriate with your kids.
Absolutely.
For Halloween, because it's just such coming from a geek father perspective, it's one of the best memories I have are memories I watched with my mom. Movies I watched with my mom.
Right.
And we used to watch everything from like horror to comedy, and it didn't matter. Like, she was my buddy.
Absolutely.
And so, those memories I carry with me every day. So if you can go out and make those same memories with your kids.
Right. And Halloween is just a great time to do it, especially with costumes, to go out trick-or-treating.
It's just such that's one wonderful time of the year. And a good time.
Hence why we love it so much anyways.
Yes, in my heart.
Yes, absolutely, guys. We are cutting this episode a little bit short just because it's time-wise. We know how, it's the parenting game, guys. That's how we do it. But so by the time you hear this, I'm going to say fingers crossed. I hope I make it to the next stage of Face of Horror.
Oh, that's right. They're almost there.
With recording, well, we'll find out in less than a day. If I'm not in the top spot, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's at that point where it's not groups of people. It's getting down to, like, top people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a scantily clad woman who is in the top spot.
Well, at least you got this far.
I did. I got further than Steven.
Yeah.
So
you can always hold that over his head.
I will. But guys, just remember to keep it out, and remember to keep an eye out for things like the Be Positive Foundation, which the Face of Horror group is. That's part of what they're doing, is that they're doing a great organization there. We have our usual groups with Team Kimber, Mason's Toy Box, that we still support. No direct stories, just things that are still happening day to day. But just remember, guys, check those out, especially around Halloween time, where some of these kids don't get a chance to go out trick-or-treating. They may not have the same experience. So just remember, if you do have the kids that are coming up getting the candy, don't worry about age. As long as they're being respectful, give out a treat. No one needs to hear any BS about being too old, doing this or that, whatever it may be, guys. Just have fun with the holiday.
That's right.
And be safe, please, of course.
Always be safe.
Absolutely. And don't forget to also check out all the Halloween designs are still up on www.guypodcast.com. I messed that one up. But if you go to guypodcast.com, of course, all the shows, click on the link to see our friends at TeePublic to get those Halloween designs for everything. Get them now because shipping can still take a little bit of time. So if you want them by Halloween, at the, if you want them later, that's cool too. But if you want them by Halloween time, definitely get your order in as soon as you can.
Yeah, if you want to jump in on any good specials, then get on there as soon as you can.
Oh yeah, they have good specials. TeePublic is great about their sales almost every weekend and everything like that, guys. So just remember, take care of each other. The Halloween time is definitely a fun, but let's make sure it's a safe time as well. We're going to hop on out of here, cut it a little bit short, guys, but thank you very much. I love being back in action. Thank you to my co-host here. We had a long summer, but we're getting back to it and doing what we can. So, guys, thank you very much. Just don't forget, join us.
Or cry.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots.
F.U. Hunter.
Your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May the schlock be with you.
GUIPodcast.com